All right, friends, hang on, because it's time for another one of my patented rants about Allied security. This one might not be to your liking, so if you disagree, that's fine. Let me know in the comments. But here's why I don't normally advise working for Allied if you can work for another security company at similar pay. And also, if you have your own security agency, here's how I would advise using this fact to compete against Allied for their contracts, because someone needs to, and fast. Stay tuned. This rant is fired up by the SecurityOfficerNetwork.com. Grab your Security Officer Network ID card. It's your status symbol of being a professional security officer. Create your network portfolio. Build it out with TSON and FEMA certificates. Stand out, get noticed, and join the ranks of your fellow security professionals at SecurityOfficerNetwork.com. So, here's the deal. Allied Universal's recent exit from Israel. This isn't just news. It's a glaring red flag about what it means to be in business with giants like Allied Universal. You're at the mercy of the politicians of a foreign country who probably don't have any knowledge of the security industry and making decisions that probably don't align with your community and its values. Let me explain. So, Allied Universal buys up G4S in 2021, right? This reportedly makes them the 7th largest employer in the world and the 3rd largest employer in North America. And they also got their hands on the G4S operations in Israel. Fast forward to 2023, and Allied, according to the Divest from Israel organization, is now attempting to sell off its Israel operations. The Divest from Israel movement is giving credit for this pullout to Canadian politicians. In 2019, before the G4S acquisition, a French-Canadian pension fund became Allied's top shareholder, and they gained control of 2 seats on Allied's board of directors. Now, because a massive government fund is involved, Allied's every move is potentially under the microscope of Canadian politicos, in this case, a member of the Quebec Parliament's Quebec Solidaire Party, who, during a public hearing, brought public pressure on the CEO of the pension fund. The CEO of the fund, the largest shareholder of Allied, stated that he entirely agreed with the Quebecois MP. And soon thereafter, in June 2023, Israeli government filings appear to show that Allied's last remaining Israel operation is being sold off. This is why I'm not a fan of these multinational corporate juggernauts. Do I want to punch the clock for a company whose culture is being driven by a whatever the flavor of the month the politics of Quebec are? Should my workplace security depend on the whims of Canadian politicians, who, as a rule of thumb, in my view, are some of the most out-of-touch people in the world? Could this explain some of the recent inexplicable decisions by Allied's management, which again, in my personal point of view, has turned Allied's officers into little more than inept human scarecrows who are unable to deal with any real, serious security incidents? If I were intentionally trying to destroy security in America, I could think of no better plan than to use Canadian government-controlled money to finance a monopoly that buys up all of the security companies and then neuters the officers' ability to engage in real security. With Allied's near monopoly in the US and its mammoth footprint, a lot of Security Officer Network members have or will work for them. It's inevitable, and I understand that. But make no mistake, this isn't where I suggest spending a career. I think spending a career in Allied would be soul-numbing, and having to play corporate politics would destroy your ability to think like a real security professional. Maybe a year or two to snag some experience and training, sure. Or if you are doing this as a second job to get extra income and have no desire to do professional security, okay. But a lifetime under the unpredictable shadow of a corporate behemoth whose topsy-turvy culture is swayed by political winds? No thanks. For the entrepreneurs in our network, this is your opportunity, and yet another example of why this is a great time to get into the security business. The Allied monopoly has gobbled up many of your competitors who actually might have had a company culture that was security-focused and cohesive and not driven by politicians. Who's your local mom-and-pop business gonna trust? A faceless corporate entity steered by distant foreign politicians, or a homegrown security firm where you, the owner, are just a phone call or text message away? Contract negotiation is an art, so you must use good judgment. But if I were up against Allied for a deal, I'd be prepared to bring out those news headlines, showing potential clients the real puppet masters behind Allied, Quebecois politicians. It's a stark wake-up call for anyone thinking of signing with them. If you want Quebecois politicians who know nothing about security in charge of your security, hire Allied and their policy of human scarecrows. That's the end of my tirade for now. If you think I'm off base, hit me up in the comments. I welcome your viewpoints. Feel free to try to change my mind. And remember, for the pros out there, the securityofficernetwork.com is your home. Join our ranks, and let's keep this conversation going. I will see you next time.
Good luck trying to find a shrink in this town.